Good afternoon, students. Today we will be continuing our class of adrenergic and anti-adrenergic drugs. In the last class, we have discussed different drugs which act on alpha receptors, beta receptors, what are alpha 1 agonist, alpha 2 agonist, beta 1 agonist, and beta 2 agonist, and as well as their antagonist, their clinical indications. Today we'll continue further. We'll describe and discuss adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, isoprenaline, and we'll see specific alpha 1 agonist. So, as we have discussed, adrenergic drugs, they are the drugs which produce the actions or pharmacological actions similar to adrenaline. So, these are basically secreted in the postganglionic sympathetic nerve fibers. Adrenaline is being secreted from adrenal medulla, noradrenaline is being secreted from all postganglionic sympathetic nerve fibers. So they contain amino group in their chemical structure. So that is why they are called as sympathomimetic drugs also. Thus we have seen in the previous class chemical classification. We have catecholamines, which are adrenaline, noradrenaline, and dopamine. Synthetic isoprenaline, dobutamine, and dopixamine. Non-catecholamines, ephedrine, amphetamines, phenylephrine, methoxamine, mephentermine, salbutamol, and terbutaline. So we have alpha 1 agonist as well as we have beta 2 agonist in non-catecholamines. If we see the distribution of different receptors and how the signals is generated in autonomic nervous system, again we'll have a small revision of the previous class. Alpha 1 receptors subdivided into alpha 1A, alpha 1B, and alpha 1D. Whereas alpha 2, alpha 2A, 2B, and 2C, which is clinically non-significant. And beta, we have beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3. We already seen that alpha 1 receptors are present postsynaptically, whereas alpha 2 receptors are present presynaptically, and they are autoreceptors. So they have a negative feedback mechanism to release adrenaline. If we see different adrenergic drugs, noradrenaline, which is more affinity for alpha 1 receptors than alpha 2 and then beta 1 receptors. Dopamine, D1 receptors at mild doses, alpha 1 receptors at high doses, and beta 1 in moderate doses, and it exhibits different doses and different actions. Dobutamine is basically alpha and beta 1. Methamphetamine have alpha 1 receptor agonist. Phenylephrine is basically alpha 1 receptor agonist, and it causes mydriasis. It acts basically it is used in eye drops. And isoprenaline is beta 1 selective. So if we see the classification of different adrenergic hormone receptors, alpha 1A, more affinity for norepinephrine than epinephrine, and it acts through second messengers, that is inositol 3-phosphate, which release of calcium, and it acts through GQ receptors. So alpha 2, more affinity for epinephrine than norepinephrine, it decreases the cyclic AMP because it is presynaptic and it has autoregulatory mechanism and negative feedback mechanism, so it acts through GI. Beta 1 receptors, they more affinity for epinephrine and norepinephrine equal, it increases the cyclic AMP and it acts through GS, G-protein receptors. Beta 2 is more affinity for epinephrine than norepinephrine, it increases the cyclic AMP and it acts through GS, G-protein couple receptors. So adrenaline is a main sympathomimetic drug. It is a prototype catecholamine. It is derived from phenylephrine and tyrosine. We will see the synthesis. So tyrosine, in the presence of tyrosine, hydroxylase is converted to levodopa. Levodopa, in the presence of dopa decarboxylase, is converted to dopamine. And dopamine, as it is, it cannot penetrate the CNS. In the presence of dopamine beta hydroxylase, it is converted to your noradrenaline or norepinephrine. This norepinephrine, in presence of the enzyme N-methyl transferase, is converted to adrenaline. So this is a biosynthesis of adrenaline from tyrosine. There are different adrenaline preparations. Always it is used in a diluted form. The clear solution is 1:1000, that is 1 ampule of adrenaline. or it is 1 is to 10,000. Depending upon the dose, we are giving intramuscular or IV. It is combined with local anesthetic agents like lignocaine in the concentration of 1 is to 2 lakh or 1 is to 80,000. Mainly, this is used in anaphylactic reactions as auto injectors. Intramuscular dose is 0.3 milligram to 0.15 milligram, whereas IV dose is in micrograms. Effects of adrenaline on different organs and tissues in the body. So, on heart, it acts through beta-1 receptors. It has got positive inotropic and chronotropic action, that it increases the heart rate. At the same time, it increases the force of contraction of cardiac smooth muscles. On blood vessels, it acts through alpha-1 and beta-2 receptors. Through alpha-1 receptors, it causes vasoconstriction and then vasodilatation. On lungs, it acts through beta-2 receptors and causes bronchodilation. It's used in bronchial asthma. On uterus, it acts through beta-2 receptors and causes relaxation. So, clinical indications of adrenaline, it is a drug of choice in cardiac arrest. The main action is it increases the vascular resistance via alpha-1 receptors and it improves the perfusion. So, it has got greater efficacy according to the clinical situation when given IV, but one has to be very careful when you are using adrenaline IV because there are more chances of arrhythmias and cerebral hemorrhages. The side effects are, they are exaggerated effects of adrenaline. It can be due to overdose, inadvertent IV injection or inappropriate use. So these all can lead to side effects. So the major side effects are palpitations, tachycardia, tremors, lightheadedness, because it increases the release of catecholamines in the body. Tachycardia is also one of the major side effects, and hypertension. This hypertension contributes to cellular hemorrhage, acute pulmonary edema and lactic acidosis also. So, drug of choice in anaphylaxis is adrenaline. Now, how it acts? Through alpha-1 receptor agonist, it reverses the peripheral vasodilatation, so it causes vasoconstriction, and it also decreases the release of inflammatory mediators and decrease edema. Through beta-2 activity in the bronchial smooth muscle, it causes bronchodilation, so it tries to maintain the bronchial patency and the constriction part is overcome. On heart, through beta-1 receptors, it increases the force of contraction, and as well as it decreases the mediator of inflammation, histamine. The histamine is mainly responsible for bronchoconstriction along with leukotrienes. So it inhibits or blocks the release of histamine and leukotrienes. So by blocking this action, it causes bronchodilation. At the same time, the severity is also decreased by decreasing or blocking the Ig mediated allergic reaction. So overall action is it decreases histamine, it blocks Ig mediated allergic reaction, and the overall net result is it causes bronchodilation. So how we manage a case of acute anaphylaxis with adrenaline? So the doses are in micrograms as intramuscular route and IV in micrograms. So dilution in intramuscular is 1 is to 1000, and for IV we have 1 is to 10,000. So adult 500 micrograms, that is 0.5 ml intramuscularly, whereas in IV dose we give 50 micrograms 0.5 ml in a titrated effect. So all doses are titrated IV. Depending upon the clinical outcome of the patient, we titrate the dose. So we always use IV infusion. So children more than 12 years 500 micrograms, that is 0.5 ml, and children in IV is 50 micrograms or 0.5 ml. Children at the age of 6 to 12 years 300 micrograms, and that is 0.3 ml, and 1 microgram per kg in IV dose, that is also titrated dose. So doses are very important. These are given IV infusion, and never ever abort the infusion doses abruptly. So it is always tapered off gradually. It is always also being used as topical or local vasoconstrictor. So local vasoconstrictor action is adrenaline is used as topical application alone, or it is combined with local anesthetic agents. In dental, procedures. So it prolongs the action of lignocaine, it reduces bleeding time, and at the same time the bleeding time is there reduced at the site of injury or topically, but extravasation of this preparation is very important. So extravasation, it can lead to vasoconstriction and gangrene in that part. So one has to be very careful when you are using adrenaline with local anesthetic agent. So contraindications of adrenaline is known hypersensitivity, only shock other than anaphylactic reaction. So it is only used in anaphylactic reaction, not in other conditions of shock. Cardiac dilatation, insufficiency, hypertension, ischemic heart disease, arrhythmias, cerebral atherosclerosis, and of course hyperthyroid states. Now noradrenaline is a catecholamine with multiple roles. It acts as a local hormone as well as it acts as a neurotransmitter also. Noradrenaline, it acts as a stress hormone. So we have seen in the last class, it is a local hormone for fight or flight response, and it increases the heart rate when the person is frightened, triggers the release of glucose, so it overcomes hypoglycemic state, it increases blood flow to skeletal muscles, and at the same time it suppresses neuroinflammation. Now the vesicular transport of noradrenaline is by the decarboxylation mechanism. The final beta oxidation of norepinephrine takes place. By beta oxidation, norepinephrine is transported into the synaptic vesicles. Now this is accompanied by vesicular monoamine transport, that is VMAT, in the lipid bilayer. This transporter has equal affinity for norepinephrine, ephedrine and isoprene. The pharmacodynamics, it has got potent action both on alpha-1 and beta-1 receptors, but little action on beta-2 receptors. So on alpha-1 receptors, it acts and causes potent vasoconstriction, lacks bronchodilating action as adrenaline has got. It increases the systolic and the diastolic blood pressure along with the mean arterial pressure. The major side effect is reflex bradycardia and metabolic acidosis. The pharmacokinetics, the onset and duration is very short, it is 1 to 2 minutes, and they are metabolized by catechol O-methyl transferase and monoamine oxidase enzymes. This is one of the major neurotransmitter in the postganglionic sympathetic nervous system, and it crosses the placenta but not the blood-brain barrier. Excretion is usually mainly through urine. So this noradrenaline is a first line drug for maintenance of the blood pressure in hypotensive states. It also maintains the tissue perfusion in septic shock. It is used as an adjunct to other drugs to correct hemodynamic imbalances. So start the dose as 8 to 10 microgram per minute IV infusion, and according to the situation, according to the clinical outcome of the patient, we titrate the doses. The maintenance dose is 2 to 5 microgram per minute IV infusion. In case of septic shock, 0.01 to 3 microgram per kg per minute IV infusion is given. So usual dose is 0.01 to 0.1 milligram when you are giving intramuscularly. Average adult maintenance dose is 2 to 4 microgram per minute, and it may require 80 to 30 microgram per minute in cases of refractory shock. So you have to increase and titrate the dose according to the clinical outcome of the patient. So it is given as infusion in 5% dextrose or normal saline. So the adverse effects may be hypertension, bradycardia, arrhythmias and palpitations. It may also lead to ischemic injury, because it has got a potent vasoconstrictive action. Anxiety, insomnia, confusion are also there, headaches, psychosis, weakness and tremors. So these are the side effects being encountered with noradrenaline. Now something about alpha adrenergic agonist. We have selective alpha-1 agonist, phenylephrine, methoxamine, metaraminol and mefentermine, whereas selective alpha-2 agonist, clonidine, alpha-methyl dopa, guanfacine and guanbens. Mephentermine is one of the drugs which is used in spinal anesthesia induced hypotension. So this drug is used as alpha 1 agonist because it causes vasoconstriction. There is more chances of hypotension after spinal anesthesia. So mephentermine is a drug of choice. So alpha 1 agonists as decongestants: ephedrine, phenylephrine, oxymetazoline, xylometazoline, nafazoline and tetrahydrozoline. So they are basically used in nasal decongestant conditions. Phenylephrine is selective, synthetic and directly alpha 1 agonist. It can be administered parenterally and topically. It is used in eye cause mydriasis and used in opal angle glaucoma. It has got longer duration of action. It is resistant to monoamine oxidase and COMT enzymes. So peripheral vasoconstrictor action is also there with phenylephrine, and it may lead to increase in blood pressure. The side effects are reflex bradycardia, and mainly it is used as a mediatric agent and nasal decongestant. Phenylephrine is also used in hypovolemic shock as a pressor agent. It is used in sinusitis and rhinitis as nasal decongestant. Mediatric in eye drops to lower the intraocular pressure in open angle glaucoma. It does not cross blood-brain barrier, so no CNS effects are there. So actions are qualitatively similar to noradrenaline, and it mainly causes photosensitivity, and when it is used as a topical agent, it causes conjunctival hyperemia and hypersensitivity reactions. Ephedrine is again a plant alkaloid. It is an indirectly sympathomimetic drug resembling adrenaline peripherally. Centrally, it increases alertness, anxiety, it causes insomnia, tremors in adults. The action is very slow. It occurs after a time period of 4 hours. Used as a bronchodilator, mediatric, and also in heart block. It also causes mucosal vasoconstriction, so also used in nasal decongestant and in myasthenia gravis. So actions are similar to pseudoephedrine, which is again a nasal decongestant agent. So mucosal decongestants, when we are talking, we have nasal mucosal decongestants and bronchial decongestants. They are used in allergic rhinitis, colds, coughs and sinusitis as nasal drugs. The major limitation of these drugs: they should not be used excessively, more than 3 hours, less than 3 hours a day, because if they are being used for prolonged period for more than 3 weeks and the frequency is less, it may cause rebound congestion, and the rebound congestion may lead to atrophic rhinitis also. So one has to be very careful when you are using ephedrine or pseudoephedrine. Beta adrenergic agonists, they are basically short acting and longer acting. Salbutamol is a shorter acting, then metaproterenol and terbutaline are shorter acting, whereas metoprolol is a longer acting beta 2 agonist agent. They are used in inhalational treatment for bronchial asthma, and the onset of action is very short, 1 to 5 minutes, and the bronchodilation lasts for 2 to 6 hours. The duration of action is prolonged when you are using oral preparations. They directly reflect on the bronchial smooth muscles, on the beta 2 receptors, and they relieve dyspnea and bronchoconstriction in bronchial asthma patients. Dopamine we have discussed in last class. It is a 3,4 dihydroxy phenylethylamine. It is a immediate metabolic precursor of noradrenaline. Higher concentration is there in basal ganglion, limbic system and hypothalamus. It is a basic catecholamine and acts as a central neurotransmitter. It regulates different body movements. It has different receptors, D1 and D2 family, D1 to D5. It is ineffectively orally, and IV infusion is used. So very short half-life, 3 to 5 minutes. And we have seen that different doses of dopamine, they act on different receptors. So mild doses, it acts on D1 receptors like 1 to 3 microgram or 1 to 5 microgram per kg per weight, it acts on B1 receptors which are present presynaptically and it causes diuresis. Whereas moderate dose, that is 3 to 5 microgram per kg of body weight, it acts on beta 1 receptors which causes increased force of contraction, increased heart rate, and you further increase the dose to 10 to 30 microgram per kg body weight, it acts on alpha 1 receptors where it causes vasoconstriction and increase in blood pressure. So it acts on different receptors, beta 1, alpha 1, beta 2 receptors. So D2 receptors are present in the CNS ganglion on renal cortex. So dobutamine is a congener of dopamine which is more specific for beta 1 receptors, and it causes increased force of contraction and your heart rate. Basically the heart rate is not that much increase as that of dopamine. So dobutamine specifically increase the force of contraction. So it has got positive inotropic action but negative or minimum chronotropic action. Thank you.